Join President Meredith as he confers over 1,600 degrees to the graduating class of 1994. Today at 3 p.m. live on WKYU TV. This is WKYU Bowling Green, the public television service of Western Kentucky University.
It's going to be quite a reality check.
Challenging and rewarding.
I did it and had a good time doing it.
It means a lot to me to walk through that aisle and get that diploma from Dr. Meredith.
I still haven't turned in my degree program form yet.
I'm glad I'm almost out of here.
Welcome to Western Kentucky University and the 1994 commencement exercise, the 137th commencement exercise here at Western. I'm Janine Howard along with Jeff Younglove.
Thank you, Janine. Good to be here once again. We have a busy day, once again a store for the 1,600 plus graduates who will be going through line today. Faculty are here, staff are here, and of course family and friends here to see each and every one of these graduates have their name called during special ceremonies today.
And you know, many of these graduates are the first graduates in their family to ever graduate from college. We will be witnessing the awarding of degrees to candidates for bachelor's, associate, and master's degrees, and we'll also hear some very special stories about these seniors and their experiences on the Hill.
We have officially begun. The faculty have processed in, and we're preparing now for our graduates, or our graduates-to-be, as they'll be processing in, and we'll see the variety of colors. So let's now begin our procession of these 1,600 plus graduates.
turn this thing down. It's blowing my head away. Okay, there we go. As the faculty and graduates continue to file in, let's hear from some of those seniors about their time at Western.
It's something that we've all worked towards, and I think when you come in as a freshman, it's hard to find and it's hard to see, and you hear about people graduating, but you don't ever think it's going to be you.
I'm out in May. That's it. I'm through. Actually, I'm going to miss it.
The first of this semester, I knew that in May I was graduating, but I don't think it really hits home until 2 weeks before graduation when you're thinking, you know, this is really going to happen.
I really can't believe it's over.
All this will kind of hit me probably at the ceremony, that a lot of things are starting to hit me right now. I can't believe a lot of this is finally coming to an end. I feel like I'll be here another semester, so I have a feeling that when I go through the ceremony, it'll finally, everything will kind of come together and make me realize that this is it.
That everybody here is friendly. You're not just a number, you're not just a person walking around campus. If you ask someone a question, they're going to answer it, and people are open and friendly. You can walk by somebody and say hi to them, even if you don't know them, they'll say hi back.
If you come in with a strong mental attitude and you know what you want to do, then Western's a perfect university. They don't interfere with your personal life. They don't interfere with your academic life necessarily, except in the right ways. But they let you do your own thing, and you pretty much have to come up with your own answers. I mean, it's college. I mean, no one's going to walk you through life. No one should walk you through college.
I think that everybody who comes here, whether or not they expect to or not, they leave here knowing so much and having so much experience and doing so well.
It's been a lot of hard work, but I made sure of what I wanted to do and dedicated myself to doing that and getting through it. Didn't expect the honors and things that I got, but I guess the hard work paid off.
A personal achievement for me. It's a personal achievement for my family, my wife and 2 children, because they've endured a lot.
1994 commencement ceremonies here in Diddle Arena. You know, James Ridenauer was to receive his Master of Arts degree in sociology here today. And sad to say, James passed away before these commencement ceremonies. In honor of his father's achievement, 11-year-old Jason Ridenauer will accept his father's diploma. Jason will walk up with his mother, Billie Jane Ridenauer, a little bit later, who is also receiving her associate's degree from Potter College. Janine, a lot of different people here this afternoon, and I guess kind of the highlight, as we have talked about, of the academic career.
That is correct. We will be seeing some of these faculty and staff receive some outstanding performance awards along with the students for their academic achievements.
Of course, the graduates still processing in, as we talked about earlier, around 1,600 plus that will be hearing their names called today. These include graduates from last December as well. Western only has the one commencement ceremony right now. During May, they used to have a couple, but now only one of them, and it happens today.
You know, the practice of calling each graduate's name goes back to the university's founder, Dr. Henry Hardin Cherry. Dr. Cherry believed college graduation should be a solemn occasion, and he went the extra mile to ensure it so. Dr. Cherry saw many a first-generation college graduate achieve what no one in his or her lineage had ever done before. The practice of reading each graduate's name continued for decades, even in the days before air conditioning. But as progress entered the picture and enrollment skyrocketed, the individual name reading was discontinued during the tenure of Dr. Donald Zacharias. Upon taking over the helm as president in 1989, Western's current president, Dr. Thomas Meredith, reinstated the practice. And today, you will hear the name of nearly 1,600 graduates read individually. As Jeff and I well know, we've had plenty of practice along those lines. From salmon pink to peacock blue, the wearing of academic apparel is a deliberate and time-honored tradition. As Barbara Deeb found out, the sea of color among today's participants represents a rainbow display of distinction.
It's a tradition dating back to 13th century England, brought to the U.S. in colonial times. The elements of academic regalia, the gown, hood, and cap became standard attire in the late 1800s. At about that same time, American colleges and universities developed an intercollegiate code of academic custom, and it's still recognized today. The gown is usually of black material. Doctors' gowns are faced with panels of velvet down the front and 3 bars of velvet across each sleeve. To determine the type of degree held, one need only look at the graduate's hood. It's the principal emblem of the nature and source of the degree held. Worn around the neck, the hood hangs down the back and is edged in velvet in the colors of the degree. Its silk lining bears the colors of the institution which granted the degree. Now, there is one catch. Hoods may be worn only after the degree has been granted. The familiar cap, also known as a square mortarboard, is adorned with a tassel, which may vary in color depending on the color of the degree for bachelor's and master's candidates. The degree colors relate directly to the category of the degree. The institutional colors with which hoods are lined indicate the university or college granting the degree. Traditional cap and gowns are the order of the day for university officials, faculty, and visiting dignitaries. Western Kentucky University associate degree candidates are wearing gray gowns and caps. Recipients of the bachelor's, master's, and specialist degrees are wearing black caps and gowns, with the latter wearing hoods of various colors. Clothing as distinct as the individuals who wear them.
Crowd there of our faculty members.
You know, it was interesting, Janine, coming in earlier, you see a variety of colors, a variety of even styles of the types of caps and the gowns. We saw one gentleman who had the beret style along with, well, gosh, as near as I could tell, almost a mink stole type of regalia.
I think you described it well when you said it looked like it belonged to that of a king or royalty. Some of these gowns are very interesting of the master degree holders.
Something you see from that shot as well. A few, not as many as maybe previously, but some of the messages on the hats, on the caps rather, of many of the graduates. I know throughout the week I've heard plans of many sayings to go on each of these. You know, there's also a shift toward older students. We call them non-traditional students now. It's been on the increase over the past few years, and they've had an impact on this university as they've had on many other universities. The non-trads, as they are traditionally called right now, are people over the age of 25 who are attending college. And 2 of the college scholars, in fact, this year are classified as non-traditional students. So pretty impressive among those. One is also the Ogden trustee. He's the graduating senior with the highest grade point average in the entire graduating class of 1994. This is, as we said, one of our non-traditional students, and we'll see if these scholars receive some special awards in just a little bit from now early in the program. Music playing under the direction of Joe Stites, and I think this is the first time in many years that it has not been under the direction of Dr. Kent Campbell, who retired after last year. So a little bit of a new era as far as our band and orchestra, as we see many of the faculty who participate in this, and I'm sure it's a proud moment for many of them too, to see a lot of students that they have had over the years finally reach this point of their college career.
A lot of pictures being taken here today. Very proud moment for many of these parents and their family and friends.
Joe Stites, who we talked about a moment ago, the director of marching bands here at Western. You know, when I got here about 30 minutes ago, Diddle Arena not quite full, But as of right now, I'd say that statement is pretty false because we are pretty much to the top right now of Diddle Arena.
We are sure reaching capacity here, and it's a beautiful day here in Bowling Green, a wonderful day for this commencement exercise.
You can even see some seats up in the kind of the center of your screen, the top center of your screen, what appears to be right below the scoreboard, that those are being held this year for graduates. And as we have seen each year, more and more students participating in this. And, you know, the reasons may be many, but I think the calling of names, while it does take a little while and takes a little practice, has really become something special to many of these graduates, and I'm sure special to their family and friends who, at least for that one brief moment, have their son or daughter in the spotlight.
You know, each graduate's story is unique, but they're all here with the support of teachers and friends and family. Let's take a moment now and hear from some of those graduates.
Kathy Edelman in the physical education department, she really gave me the push that I needed to realize that I could do it. I had the ability and the skills. I just needed the confidence, and she really gave me that and pushed me toward it. I've gotten out of the program a lot of information and knowledge that is not really readily available in a lot of programs, I think, because the faculty in the speech program is just second to none.
They hold their professional degrees, their CPAs, and so they're up with it. They know what's going on.
My parents and my sister, she lives in Bowling Green, and my boyfriend and his whole family.
Aunts, uncles, cousins, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th cousins.
And grandparents, everyone's coming up.
My aunt, my uncle, my sisters, my brother-in-laws, my nieces.
I'm the first one of my brothers and sisters to graduate from college, and so they've all been excited about that, I think.
I think Big Red is the coolest mascot there is.
Still trying to figure out what Big Red is.
The chewing gum?
I think he's a good thing. I can't figure out what exactly he is, but I think he's a good mascot for us.
You mean that grimace-looking character?
So it's an exciting vehicle for Western's image and spirituality. I'm impressed with the whole aura of this university. It permeates just about every being on this campus, and it elevates us to new highs of enlightenment. And it's a wonderful thing, and it's all embodied in that big red globs.
About Big Red. I wonder if Big Red has ever been through commencement. Did he ever graduate from Western?
Well, I don't know if he actually took part in the exercise. I'm sure he has an honorary degree or two.
May even have his doctoral degree from Western.
You know, it takes a lot of hard work for people to put a commencement exercise together, and sometimes those people are overlooked. But their hard work is noticed by the friends and families here, as some of these students said in the package there. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a chance for many of these students. As I mentioned in the opening, some of these students are the first in generations to graduate from a university. There we have the honor cord. See the honor cords draped around the candidate's neck there? That signifies their accomplishment in the academic arena.
I guess one of the times, other than when you get your grades in the mail, that honor is recognized. You were talking about the number of people that it takes to put this on. Frida Eggleton, of course, the registrar and chair of the commencement committee, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention her and her entire office for that matter. This is an extremely busy time of the year for them. This is their highlight. This is their Final Four, if you want to put it in basketball vernacular. We are in a basketball arena, but she has done, again, an outstanding job along with everyone in her office, and I think you and I would be remiss if we didn't mention at least Judy Bird, who provides us with some pronunciations which sometimes we get right and sometimes we do our best. Let's put it that way. But the entire area, and as you said, 70 to 100 people or so involved in in putting this one day together, one time a year, but a lot of work and effort goes into it, from the setting out of the chairs and the stage and, well, you name it. There's a lot of little details that have to be done or it doesn't go off right. These 1,600 graduates here today that we've been talking about will each face new challenges following today. And let's hear from some of them on their thoughts for their future.
I won't be rich, but I'll at least enjoy my job.
Starting to apply some of the things I've been hearing about for the last 4 years. Put some of this to the test, and I guess then that will be the test of Western's program here.
I've been in academia so long, it seems like it's kind of a safe haven for me. The real world, I think, is something that I'm really kind of fearing right now.
I would love to work at Toys R Us because I'm still a big kid at heart and I don't think I'll ever grow up.
The next stage of life is going to begin, which is kind of a scary thought, but again, I just want to celebrate graduation and have fun. I think it's been a long 4 years, and I'm looking forward to that one day of just not having to worry about anything, thinking about the day after on the following Monday, so I'll put it off for one day. For once, I'll not worry.
I travel a lot with the accounting fraternity. When people ask me where I'm from, I'm proud to say Western Kentucky.
But in one sense, I hate to see it come to an end, and in another sense, I'll be tickled to death to get it over with.
I've enjoyed these 4 years and had a really good time, and I truly can look back on these 4 years and say they, so far, have been among the 4 best years of my life.
It's almost over.
The all-night paper writing study sessions and the finals that just seem like the end of the world, and they're over so quickly.
Goodbye, and good luck to all those who have to stay. Sorry.
I'm glad I'm graduating. I feel sorry for everybody else that has to keep going to school, but...
You leave everything that's been planned for you your whole life. You know, I've always known I was going to college, where you leave all that behind and you start with a clean slate.
Moment, we will be hearing from Mr. Robert D. Evans, Jr. Graduating senior will be giving the invocation, and that will be followed by the national anthem, sung by Heather Hall, also a senior.
Seats are just about full now.
I don't think there's a frown to be found in this auditorium.
No, as long as the temperature remains about what it is. It's very pleasant today, and we've had a little bit warmer commencement ceremonies as the Graduate College, Donald Smith, the student regent and outgoing Associated Student Government president on stage, some of the other regents who are all part of this. Mr. Burns Mercer, chairman of the board of regents at Western, and of course, Dr. Meredith and Frida Eggleton, who we talked about before, all as part of these stage guests, and most of them have some part to play in this afternoon's ceremonies. Not too many fans being used right now, and that's a good sign. You usually see those programs get double use. More stage members and guests as the Graduate College making their way in, the last ones to be seated here this afternoon. Or so family and friends, plus the 1,600 or so graduates on the floor. I guess about as full as it will get. Now, Janine, you've been through this here once before. Any memories flashing back?
I remember trying to hunt out my parents in this magnificent crowd of spectators. Very hard to do when you're sitting on the floor. It's just a sea of people looking up.
As you can see, unless you know pretty much where they are, you've got a lot of looking to do to find your family and friends in this crowd today. Just about at that time, and as one might say, let the games begin.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask Mr. Rob Evans, the newly elected president of the Student Government Association, to come forward for our invocation. At the conclusion of the invocation, please join Ms. Heather Hall, a senior from Bowling Green, in the singing of our national anthem. Heather will be accompanied by the University Symphonic Band under the direction of Mr. Joseph Seitz. Will you please rise at this time?
For those of you who would like to, I would encourage you to bow your heads as we go to prayer. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here today for this graduation ceremony. We also thank you for the educators and the university which you've provided us. We ask for your blessings upon the ceremony as well as the blessings upon the graduates. And let us meet those trials in our lives with the philosophy which our university enjoins. That is, the Spirit makes the master. Amen.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the
Please be seated. Welcome to the 137th commencement of Western Kentucky University. We are gathered here today to give special recognition and to pay tribute to the graduating class of 1994. This truly is a special day for all of us on this beautiful May afternoon. Before we continue, I want to give special recognition to the University Symphonic Band and Mr. Joseph Stites for the beautiful music they provided this afternoon. I would like now to introduce the platform guests, and I'll introduce them by groups. And I ask that you hold your applause until all members of a group have been recognized. Those not being introduced will be presented at another time on the program. First are the members of the Board of Regents of Western. These ladies and gentlemen give unselfishly of their time and their talent for this great university. Mr. Burns Mercer, Chair from Hardinsburg. Ms. Kristen Bale from Glasgow. Mr. Earl Fisher from Owensboro. C.C. Howard Gray from Lexington. Ms. Peggy Loafman from Bowling Green. Mr. Raymond Mendel, Faculty Regent from Bowling Green. Fred Mudge from Russellville. And Donald Smith, Student Regent from Elizabethtown. Thank you. Next are the local members of the Kentucky General Assembly. We are particularly appreciative of the support they provide higher education and this institution. It's difficult to adequately explain how much they do for this great university in their roles, even during difficult financial times. These three gentlemen always make sure this great university is treated equitably. Senator Nicholas Kofoglis, Representative Jody Richards, and Representative Billy Ray Smith. Now let me introduce the rest of the platform guests. First, Dr. John Minton, Professor, Department of History, President Emeritus, Western Kentucky University. Dr. James Ramsey, Vice President for Finance and Administration. Dr. Jerry Wilder, Vice President for Student Affairs. Mr. Robert Rutledge, Vice President for Institutional Advancement. Mr. Howard Bailey, Dean of Student Life. Dr. Michael Bender, Dean of Libraries. Dr. Ronnie Sutton, Dean of Academic Services. And I hope you'll remember former President Dr. Dero Downing, who is unable to be with us today, and please remember him as well. Thank you. Now I want to recognize a number of people who have played an important role in support of today's graduates, and I hope you'll hold your applause until all have been introduced. They were the ones who've been holding their breath for the last few years, waiting for this day. And I would like, first of all, for all of the parents of today's graduates to stand and remain standing. Come on, parents. I'll hold your applause. Now, would all grandparents of today's graduates please stand? Remain standing, parents. If you are a spouse of one of today's graduates, would you please stand? All children and grandchildren of today's graduates, would you please stand? Finally, all other relatives and friends of today's graduates, would you please stand? Thank you. You may be seated. Let me now introduce our former student body president, Mr. Donald Smith, who also serves as a student regent, to come forward for remarks. Donald?
Today we are assembled for one of the treasured traditions in American education, the commencement ceremony. For the past year, you have given me the honor to serve you as president of the Student Government Association. It is in this capacity that I take the liberty of focusing briefly upon the one basic element of the many complex human relationships that prevail this afternoon. I submit to you that the great majority, if not all of us who receive a diploma here today, are debtors. Perhaps the biggest debt of all is to our parents and other supportive family and friends who have provided us the love, encouragement, and even dollars necessary to pursue our educational goals. We are also indebted to the Western faculty and staff, so many of whom have shown a genuine interest in our learning and personal welfare. But let us not forget another debt, our debt to Western Kentucky University, soon to be our alma mater. I hope that in some measure we will commence today to repay our debt to Western by making a silent commitment to do two things. First, let us make a commitment to retain a personal interest in Western's welfare, thereby preserving and strengthening a valued tradition of loyalty and support among Western alumni. And finally, let us commit ourselves to a higher level of service while engaging in worthy endeavors that speak to the world. At Western, our education was of the heart as well as the head. To me, that is the true meaning of our motto, the spirit makes the master. As we leave Dill Arena today, we should remember that each day brings its trials and temptations and its joys and sorrows, but we should treat everything as a learning experience. Even though we are graduating from college today, we will always be students in life.
I'll now ask Dr. Robert V. Haynes, Vice President for Academic Affairs, to come forward. Dr. Haynes will recognize our retiring faculty members. Dr. Haynes.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I wish to recognize a group of special faculty, those who, after many years of dedicated service to Western, are retiring or taking optional retirement from the university. As I call their names, I would ask them to stand and remain standing in order to be recognized. Please withhold your applause until all names have been announced. Mary Crisp, Teacher Education. Louis Erkey, Consumer and Family Sciences. Sally Clark, Consumer and Family Sciences. Robert Simpson, Psychology. Norman Hunter, Chemistry. Frank Pittman, Industrial Technology. Donald Went, Industrial Technology. Drew Harrington, History. Please join me in thanking these people for their dedicated service to Western.
There's one other retirement that's appropriate to recognize at this time. For the past 24 years, Mr. Dave Evans of the College Heights Bookstore has personally coordinated all of the cap and gown arrangements for our students and faculty. Today marks his final commencement. Thank you, Dave, and best wishes. Would you please stand, Dave? Is he over here? Where is Dave? You can tell we surprised him. Dr. Haynes?
On page 5 of the commencement program, you will find a list of faculty who are recipients of the 1994 College Awards for Outstanding Teaching, Research Creative Activity, and Public Service. From these finalists, a committee of faculty, alumni, and students have selected 3 for the University Awards. Although these awards will be presented formally at the fall faculty meeting, I am pleased to announce the recipients for these awards this afternoon so that you may recognize and congratulate them. I ask that they stand as I call their names, and that you again withhold your applause until all have been introduced. The recipient of the University Teaching Award is Mr. Wayne Mason of the Biology Department. I see that you can't refrain, that's all right. The recipient for the University Research Award is Dr. Carlene K. Ball of the Department of Psychology. And the recipient for the University Public Service Award is Miss Catherine Ward, Department of English. Please join me in congratulating these fine faculty.
Thank you, Dr. Haynes. Congratulations to all of you. It's now my pleasure to ask Ms. Frida Eggleton, Registrar, to come to the podium for the recognition of our honor graduates, the outstanding scholars of the various colleges, and the announcement of the recipients of the Ogden Trustees Awards.
The university is indeed honored to recognize those graduates who have established themselves as scholars by earning superior grades. Undergraduate students who have achieved the distinction of graduating with honors are identified by the symbols explained on page 6 of the commencement program. The red and white honor cords worn by the graduates today reflect this achievement. In addition, the diploma of each of these students will signify the appropriate honor. The university awards 5 honor designations based upon the degree level, number of credit hours earned at Western, and cumulative grade point average. These honors are determined by the following criteria. Associate degree candidates completing their requirements with a cumulative grade point average of 3.4 to 3.69 and a minimum of 32 semester hours of coursework earned at Western are graduated with distinction. Associate degree candidates completing their requirements with a grade point average of 3.7 to 4.0 and a minimum of 32 semester hours of coursework earned in residence are graduated with high distinction. Would each of these associate degree candidates graduating with honors please stand and be recognized? Baccalaureate candidates completing their degree program with an overall grade point average of 3.4 to 3.59 with a minimum of 64 semester hours of coursework at Western are graduated cum laude. Baccalaureate candidates completing their degree program with an overall grade point average of 3.6 to 3.79 and a minimum of 64 semester hours of credit at Western are awarded the distinction of magna cum laude. The honor of summa cum laude is awarded to those graduates who have earned a grade point average of 3.8 to a perfect 4.0 and have completed a minimum of 64 semester hours of work at Western. Such an honor is achieved by fewer than 3% of the university graduates. At this time, I ask all baccalaureate degree candidates to stand and be recognized. The baccalaureate student graduating with the highest academic standing in each undergraduate college is designated as Scholar of the College. In recognition of this achievement, the dean of each college will present a silver bowl to the recipient. In addition, students graduating with a perfect 4.0 with all of their coursework at Western will be honored as recipients of the prestigious Ogden Trustees Award. Named for one of the institutions from which Western Kentucky University has evolved, the Ogden Trustees Award will be presented today by Mr. Herbert Smith, Sr., a member of the Ogden Foundation Board of Directors. Dean David Lee will present the Scholar of the Potter College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, and Mr. Smith will present the Ogden Award to 2 recipients. First, Kelly Brillhart. Kelly Brillhart is receiving a Bachelor of Arts degree with a major in English. Kelly is married to Marty Ryan of Franklin and is the daughter of Klein and Carol Brillhart. Also receiving both the College Award and the Ogden Trustees Award is Paula Burt Trafton. Paula has earned a Bachelor of Arts degree with double majors in History and English. She is married to Dr. Joe Trafton of Bowling Green and is the daughter of Mary and Francis Burt. Dean J. Michael Brown will present the Scholar of the College of Business Administration to Sandy Klein of Bowling Green. Sandy is receiving a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Information Systems. She is the daughter of Alan and Kui Chin Klein. Dean Carl Martre will present the Scholar of the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences Award, and Mr. Smith will present the Ogden Award to Greg A. Whitty of Alvaton. Greg has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in middle grades education. He is married to Patty Whitty and the son of Jerry and late Dot Whitty. Presenting the award for the top scholar of the Ogden College of Science, Technology, and Health is Dean Martin Houston. Receiving both this college award and the Ogden Trustees Award is Janet Takish, a mathematics major from Scottsville. Janet is receiving a Bachelor of Arts degree. She is married to Jack Takish and is the daughter of Dr. Homer B. Martin and Carolyn Martin. Congratulations to each of these award winners and their families who have supported them in their academic endeavors.
Thank you, Ms. Everton, Mr. Smith, and Deans, and congratulations to all these honorees. Given their exemplary accomplishments, I want to ask the family members of these honorees to stand so we can applaud you as well. Family members, would you stand of all these honorees who just came across? Today is a special day in the lives of all who are assembled in this arena. You, the honorees, all of you here, came to us some time ago and in essence said, I've made a commitment to obtain more education. I want to be as prepared as I possibly can to face life's challenges. I want to contribute to this world, and I want to be successful. You ask us at Western to help you reach this next level. At your orientation, or OAR, I thanked you and your parents for giving us that opportunity. There are over 3,000 colleges and universities in this country, yet you placed your confidence in us at Western, and we gladly accepted that challenge. And I would tell you, and you know now, that you could not have chosen an institution in this country where the faculty and staff who are seated on each side of you would have loved you more or cared more about you. Today is the culmination of the time you've spent together. One of the special missions of Western over the years has been to provide a way for worthy students to have an opportunity for higher education. I know that many of you represent the first person in your immediate family to receive a college degree. If you are the first person in your immediate family to receive a college degree, like I was, would you please rise at this time, the first person in your immediate family to get a college degree? Thank you. To the parents of these students, I want to say a special thank you for providing the guidance and support to make sure that they had an opportunity to achieve something that many of you did not have. Graduates, would you join me in giving your parents a round of applause for this support? I also want to give special recognition to our non-traditional students, our non-trads as we affectionately call them here. Few will know of your many sacrifices to be here today, but we congratulate you, and particularly as you notice some of these honor graduates were non-trads as well. Congratulations to all of our non-traditional students. I want to ask you, our graduates, to carry the Western spirit with you as you leave. You've heard a lot about that Western spirit since you arrived here. You know that our institutional motto, which is in our seal on the front of your program, is "The Spirit makes the master." And I must tell you that that motto is true. It's not just words. We believe the special something inside of you makes the difference. As one of our alums wrote me not long ago, it's that other thing that makes Western graduates stand apart. Now I want to mention to you three important components that I think that are a part of this motto that we have, the Spirit makes the master. One, always see farther than you can see. Don't be satisfied with that which is easily within your grasp or that which is easily attainable. Be visionary, look beyond, and then go for it. Always give more than is expected of you. No matter how small the task, no matter how monumental the request, always give more than is asked, whether it's your job, your family, your friends, your strangers, church, whatever. In all things, take one more step than is expected. And the third point may very well be the most important. I ask you as graduates of Western to be humane and caring with your fellow human beings. Take time to listen and to share and to care. Mother Teresa said, kind words can be short and sweet, but their echoes are truly endless. Someone else said, never underestimate the power of a kind word or deed. And if you'll do all three of these things, continue to dream and go for it, do more than is expected of you, and be caring with your fellow man, what a wonderful world this will be. And you will be successful. I guarantee it. You are graduating today, but it is not an ending. Rather, it is the commencement of the rest of your lives. In a recent speech, Richard Franke, the CEO of a major corporation, said, learning is an unending process that goes on during our entire lifetime. It is unrealistic and even sad to think that study and our education should end at graduation. There is so much to know and so much to read that we need years and years to even begin to become educated. So let me encourage you, be optimistic, be confident, be successful, have fun, make this world a better place for all of us. I want to thank you for choosing Western. We are now bonded together for the rest of our lives as graduates of Western, and we will be proud to call you our graduates. Thank you.
At this time, President Meredith and Chairman Mercer, it is my privilege on behalf of the academic deans, department heads, and faculty of Western Kentucky University to present to you the candidates who have completed all requirements for the associate, baccalaureate, master's, and specialist degrees. Before these candidates are presented, it is fitting that recognition be given to the individuals who have provided outstanding instruction and guidance to these graduates. At this time, I would ask the faculty to stand so that we may all recognize them and express our appreciation for what they have accomplished for these graduating students. Will the faculty please stand? Today's degree candidates have completed associate, baccalaureate, master's, and specialist degree programs as prescribed by the university in conformity to the standards of its accrediting associations and the laws of the Commonwealth. I wish to express to them the congratulations and best wishes of the faculty and to convey to both you, President Meredith, and Chairman Mercer, the genuine pride which we feel toward each graduate having reached this milestone. I would now ask that all candidates for the associate, baccalaureate, master's, and specialist degrees to please stand for the conferring of the appropriate degrees. Will you please stand? It is with great pleasure that I recommend to you that the appropriate degrees be conferred upon these candidates, who by the application of their abilities to their assigned studies have completed the various degree programs and have demonstrated their qualifications for this high recognition.
Dr. Haynes, as president, I hereby state to the board that these candidates have now completed the proper certification and notify you and all here present of the acceptance of your recommendation.
And now, representing the Board of Regents of Western Kentucky University, I hereby confer upon each graduate the degree which has been earned, such degree to be a fact accomplished when the diploma is presented in testimony of this achievement.
The graduates, please be seated. Congratulations to you. I now ask Dr. Haynes to come forward to recognize each college for the presentation of diplomas to each graduate.
Will the marshals bring the candidates forward for the presentation of diplomas and the individual recognition of each graduate? During the presentation of diplomas, the audience is requested not to come to the floor to take pictures. Professional photographers are taking pictures of the president with each graduate. Specific information has also been provided the graduates. This is a special day for our graduates and for their families and friends. I know that you will want to be able to hear the name of your graduate when it is announced, and that you can also understand that the families and friends of the other graduates will want to be able to hear the name of their graduate as well. So I would ask that you please hold your applause and celebration until the names of all the graduates of the college have been announced. Please also refrain from coming to the floor to take pictures or blocking the view of others by standing along the rail to take pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased at this time to introduce Dr. David D. Lee, Dean of the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Dean Lee will present to you the graduates in Potter College for the presentation of individual diplomas. Dean Lee.
Vice President Haynes, on behalf of the faculty, it is with genuine pride that I present the graduates from the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences to this audience and present to each graduate a diploma in recognition of this significant achievement.
Roderick Moore. Jason Ridenauer, accepting the diploma for his father, the late James A. Ridenauer. Billy Ridenauer. Rand Valerie. Kelly Brillhart. Paula Trafton. Donald Smith. Stephen Abbott. James Allen IV. Wesley Allen. Shani Anderson, summa cum laude. Guy Argo. Heather Hall, cum laude. Kristen Armstrong, cum laude. Marlisa Denise Armstrong. Michael Arvin. James Ashby. Stephen Ashby. Claude Bacon. Melissa K. Baggerly. James Baum.
Kyle Bailey, Elizabeth Baker, Jennifer Baker, Teresa Baker, Rima Barco, summa cum laude, Stephen Arthur, Derek Barnes, Eric Barth, Leah Bauman, Catherine Bartling, Kimberly Belcher, Christian Bernard, magna cum laude, Bert Blevins III, Shannon Burnt, Stacy Biggs, Laura Jo Bland, Dana Yvette Marie Boblet, Laura Barlett, Jeffrey Boggs, Fonda Bond, Amanda Bowman, magna cum laude, Christopher Brady, Angela Bray, summa cum laude, David Brennan, Wendy Brenner, Allison Minton, Michael Brewer, Cheryl Brewer, Daryl Brown, Jennifer Lynn Brown, Timothy Brown, Giamo Bruni, cum laude, Angela Bryan, magna cum laude, Trenda Bumps, Lori Berger, Amy Burke, Kathy Leanne Burnett, magna cum laude, Marcus Burns, Tricia Burton, cum laude, Maria Bush, Joel Carey, Amy Carter, Mary Cecil, Sean Serrato, Amy Chambers, cum laude, Leslie Chappell, Clayton Clark, Jarvis Clark, Patrick Clark, Shelley Clark, Lorraine Cohen, Wendy Coron, Kevin Collett, John Collier, Betsy Collin, David Compton, Victoria Conitzer, Alan Cooper, Ponice Copus, David Cox, Kimberly Crane, Richard Curley, cum laude, Julie Davis, summa cum laude, Lisa Deckard, Andre Deloach, Stephen Donahoe, Heidi Draffin, magna cum laude, Carrie Duke, Kathleen Coleman, cum laude, Derek Duncan, Jennifer Duval, magna cum laude, Jimmy Duval, William Dykes, summa cum laude, Jennifer Eaton, magna cum laude, Dora Epley, Tanya Edmonds, Ola Edsel, Jason Edwards, Martin Edwards, Jennifer Elliott, Chad Estes, Steve Evans, Raymond Ezel, cum laude, David Fields, Timothy Feister, Lynette Fisher, Eric Matheson, Tracy Steele, Francis Gardler, Andrew LaJoy, cum laude, John Parsons, Laura McCauley, Brian Bohannon, Veronica Crane, Jana Menifee, Mark Piscotti, Christopher Pointer, David Hall, Cheryl Meyer, April Francine, Gregory Wells,
Jerry Daniels, Jr., Dawn Ang, Anya Arms, Tricia Hoffman, Stephanie Stivers, cum laude, Mariah Burnham, Thomas Batters, Mary Jane Fitzstevens, Wendy Fleming, Amy Jo Del Fiesel, Lori Flood, magna cum laude, Cynthia Ford, summa cum laude, Lisa Ford, Christy Foster, summa cum laude, Brian Franklin, Michelle Frazier, Scott French, Douglas Froge, cum laude, Angela K. Fry, cum laude, Alvin Garrison, Kate Garvey, Ernest Todd Gibbs, Stephanie Gibney, magna cum laude, Rebecca Gibson, Stephen Gibson, Elizabeth Gillespie, cum laude, Matthew Godstead, Todd Griffin, Tracy Grimes, Thomas Gruba, Jeffrey Hackett, Gilbert Hallaby, Adam Hall, Jeffrey Hall, Wayne Hallett, magna cum laude, Ruth McClanahan Hand, Jerry Hanley, Jeff Hardy, John Harnage, Michael Harper, Laura Harris, Kimberly Harrison, cum laude, Brad Gullett, Maria Hassan, cum laude, Heather Hauer, cum laude, Jackie Heller, Douglas Hess, Julie Hickman, magna cum laude, James Height, Jennifer Higdon, Jennifer Hill, David Hill, Joseph Hines, cum laude, Bernard Howard, Sherry Hudeberg, Tonya Hudnall, magna cum laude, Jamie Huff, Sheila Hust, Brandy James, Mark Johnson, Natalie Johnson, Raymond Johnson, Stephen Johnson, Wilhelmina Johnson, Jennifer Jones, Thomas Jordan, Douglas Kyle, Vanessa Keith, magna cum laude, Marvin Kellum IV, Brian Kelly, William Kelty Jr., Shannon Kendall, Tracy Keplinger, Christopher Carrick, Renee Kinslow, Molly Kirby, Brenda Kirtley, Sally Kraus, Emmett Wood IV, Larry Kuykendall, Lori Lambert, cum laude, Maisi Lau, Sharon Lee, cum laude, Teresa Valeria Lee, Lori Leslie, Stacy Rowe, magna cum laude, Zanga Lindsay, cum laude, Christine Luttrell, Kevin Lloyd, Kristen Logsden, summa cum laude, Laura Loving, Kimberly Mann, Jennifer Marshall, Amy Kilburn, Mary Long, Carol Ann Young, Christopher Pino, Ryan Magnus, Andrew Mann, Jennifer Cowan, cum laude, Vanessa Martin, Christopher Mattingly,
Kenneth Mock, Melissa McGuire, Eric McCandless Jr., Ryan McConnell, Robert McDougall, Matthew McGovern, Morgan McKinley, Leslie McKinney, Karen Means, Lori Megwar, Christy Mellon, magna cum laude, Angela Mercer, Jeffrey Miller, cum laude, Paulette Monroe, Michael Montgomery, Jennifer Moore, Deanna Mills, Maya Pettis, Natalie Moore, cum laude, David Morrow, Sean Morton, Karen Moss, Latrice Muir, Jennifer Mertz, Elizabeth Nagel, Christopher Nykirk, Jill Nevels, Charles Nichols, Rebecca Nicholson, Diane Knoll, magna cum laude, David Obadala, Andrew Page, Amethyl Peril Sewell, cum laude, Rodney Payne, Shelley Perry, Gretchen Plock, Carrie Short, Eric McWilliams, Patrick Monahan, Amelia Peters, Philip Payne, Daryl Peebles, John Perry, Thomas Peterson, Darren Fegley, Rhonda Vanover Fegley, Cheryl Phelps, Sharon Pearson, Terrence Pollard, Teresa Powell, Daniel Powers, Mark Powers, Melissa Powers, Shannon Powers, Becky Jo Pritchard, Joseph Raines, Bradley Rawls, Seth Reitz, Darlene Reinhardt, Jeannie Reinitz, Laura Rymanschneider, Susan Flanders, Lisa Robertson, Melissa Rodart, Angelo Rodriguez, Paul Royd, summa cum laude, Jeffrey Roper, Douglas Rosecrans, Leslie Runner, McKinley Sales, Amy Sams, Gregory Shuck, Chris Sawyer, Daniel Chapmeyer, Aaron Scheiferdecker, James Scott, David Serafini, Lucian Settles, Angela Shackelford, Karsten Shanklin, Lynn Scher, Brian Shaw Jr., Renee Shaw, Rodney Sheffield, Christopher Schmidt, Leah Shoecraft, Connie Hubbock, Darren Shipley, cum laude, Howard Schoaf, Amy Schrader, Angela Smith, Derek Smith, summa cum laude, Jennifer Smith, Raymond Smotherman, Mary Snow, summa cum laude, Jennifer Snyder, Arvella Sparks, Janet Sparks, Sean Sparks, Laura Spencer, Brian Staples, Tammy Stenger, magna cum laude, Nikita Stewart, Charles Story, Peter Stoutenberg, Chris Straub, Elizabeth Stahl, James Somerville, Timothy Sweatman, magna cum laude, Eric Starks, Sean Taylor, Stacy Stewart, Patrick Stidham, William Sturtzel, James Suggs, Kenneth Talman, Stanley Teague, Robert Thompson, Stephen Thompson, Scott Tancre, James Tennell III, Veronica Taylor, cum laude, Wendy Terhune, James Thompson, William Titchener Jr., Kevin Trulock, John Upchurch, Angela Vincent, Cheryl Vincent, Jennifer Vincent, summa cum laude, David Ward, Deandra Wardell, Jack Warren, Karen Watkins, cum laude, Gary Watson, magna cum laude, Stephen Weekly, Lisa West, Julie White, summa cum laude, Stephanie White, magna cum laude, Erica Whitelow, Lori Wilkerson, Daniel Williams, Diane Williams, Henry Williams, Robert Williams, Nicole Williamson, magna cum laude, Kevin Wing, Ensign Barney, cum laude, Carlotta Custis, Keith Groves, cum laude, Hunter Ganote, Melanie Kidwell, Neil Lee, cum laude, Donald Mather II, cum laude, Adam Pulowski, cum laude, Robert Roberson Jr., Gary Rohr, Mariah Seitz, Leah Scott, Matthew Semrick, magna cum laude, Sarah Cravens, Tamala Maxwell, Wendy O'Grody, William Shaver, Larry Burris, Philip Ferris, Denise May, Bryant McClellan, Laura McDonald, Dawn Pendley, Allison Atnip, cum laude, Catherine Hope Beckner, William Bryant, Suzanne Elaine Clark, Jamie Devine, Christy Mills Dismon, Scarlett Grady, magna cum laude, Calvin Kitchens, cum laude, Mary Jacqueline Getz Langford, Mika Merrill, Wanda Nevins, Shannon Porter, Shantae Ray, Mitchell Sims, Ukiah Leeton Smith, Wendy Stanley, Tabitha Tuttle, William Walker, Karen Wood, Paul Mullins, Leslie Crabtree, now's the time to applaud these graduates. Let's join me in congratulating the graduates of Potter College. Again, I would ask you to withhold your celebrations until all of the graduates of the college have been presented. Now I would like to introduce to you Dr. J. Michael Brown, Dean of the College of Business Administration, who will present the diplomas to the graduates of his college. Dean Brown.
Vice President Haynes, it's with genuine pride that I present the graduates from the Bowling Green College of Business Administration to this audience. present to each graduate a diploma in recognition of this significant accomplishment.
Drusilla Belcher, Tanya Lee Belcher, Denise Thompson Board, Robert James Brown, Brenda Lee Byerline, Lisa Lynn Crow, Eugene Griffin, Honorin Hawk, Sonia Renee Jackson, Jason Jessup, Martha Kiefer, James Etta Mays, Kathleen L. Milam, Robin Danielle Page, Krista Lynn Robertson, Joseph Brian Smith, Ginger Strode, Christina Beth Wheeler, Brenda Jane Spiller, Julia Vernita Ray, Tammy Michelle Whitlow, Gary Crittenden, Kimberly Renee Glass Guthrie, Judith Hawkins Hatcher, Tara Lynn Lutzen, Stacy Lou Anderson Manning, Mary Tyng, Michelle Denise Miller, Robert Evans Jr., Sandy Klein, Barbara Joyce England, Belinda England, Edward Allen, Candace Ferguson II, Delvegas Jackson, Thomas Perkins, Chad Shoulders, Ricky Stagg, Laura Sullivan, Thomas Nathaniel Taylor, Chad Wells, Thad Wells, Joe Bannister, Jackie Beck, Cynthia Ford, Michael Scott Cotton, Robert Dillingham, Kirsten Darlene Finley, Effie Forte, Jeffrey Jaggers, Philip Young Kim, Thomas Lyons, Aaron Courtney McGuire, Christine Lynn Mueller, Lucida Diane Palmer, Douglas Allen Rothert, Abraham Russell, Lynn Ernest Stewart, James Daniel Taylor, Donald Ray Wade, Travis Armstrong, Stanley Keith Baker, Kimberly Balbick, James Ballard, Albert Bonigo, Amy Bowder, Larisha Denning Bell, Michelle Bendis, Sarah Bomar, Michelle Boyle, Claudette V. Matthews, Thomas Brown, Stephen Browning, Lori Burton, Kathy Carney, Richard Cottle, Charles Charlton, Young Chow, Jason Chenoweth, Martina Coffey, Mary Cornelius Cole, Jeffrey Dale Constant, Susan Cook, magna cum laude, Jennifer Catherine Cox, summa cum laude, Michelle Cox, or Michael Cox, Johnny Dean Dougherty, Eugenia Lynn Day, Brian Lee Decker, Carla Maria DeQ, Jennifer Drain, Eric Toby Durham, Brian Scott Early, Leah Michelle Edwards, Michael Eldridge, Barry Elmore, magna cum laude. Vicki Lou England. Diana Evans, cum laude. Scotty Wayne Gobin, cum laude. Jason Scott Embry. Tamara Nicole Farrell. Brian Harris. Michael Harper. Brian Fisher. Charles Gibson. Edward Travis Goggins III, summa cum laude. Melody Goodman. Mark Edward Green. Travis Green. Barbara Ann Hale. Chris Allen Happel. Molly Lynn Harmon. Stephen Scott Harper. James Harris. Donald Leon Henderson, summa cum laude. Randall Heron. Rachel Hibbs, summa cum laude. James Eric Hickerson. Dana Lynn Heyer. Stephanie Horning. Vincent Theron Hicks, magna cum laude. Daniel Travis Hudson. Connie Huffman, summa cum laude. Christy Honeycutt. Jennifer Ignash. Adam Jackson. Jeffrey Lamont Jackson. Phyllis Jewell. Robert Johnson. Mary Jones. Terrence Lee Kennan Jr. Chris Donald Kessens. Rebecca Lynn Kitchens. Brianna Knight. Michael Francis Cotmel. Charles Lackey. Leah Landrum. David Matthew Lilly. Lisa Marie Lorline. Tricia Lynn Lovewell. Priya Vassett Main. Cheryl Markham. Stephanie McCormick. Cheryl Lynn McFadden. Matthew McGlasson. Rose Meadows, cum laude. Lisa Jernikinson Malone. Linda Mitchell, cum laude. Aaron Mobley. Lori Morehouse. Jeffrey Allen Moss. Lori Ann Mutter. Patrick Reeves. James Lee. Sean Lighton Taylor. Stephen Newman. Rachel Michelle Oglesby. Brian Keith Paget, cum laude. Robert Brian Paisley. Holly Payne. Melissa Perry. Michelle Lynn Peters. Robert Powell. Thomas Proctor. Justin Pursley. Mubina Rahim. Amy Rayleigh. Anthony Clay Ream. Vicki Lynn Resor. Brian Hammond. Michelle Faye Riddle, magna cum laude. Christopher Jean Rippey. David Scott Roberts. Michelle Johnson Roberts, cum laude. Lisa Nicole Rosa. Jeannie Rose. Rex Robin Rush. Julie Russ, summa cum laude. Jeffrey Wilson Scott, cum laude. Amy Deanne Scully, cum laude. Amy Finch Shelton. Crystal Smith. Kimberly Leanne Smith, cum laude. Valika Smith. Shelley Nicole Stallings. Amy Stevens. Jason Stockton, summa cum laude. Stephanie Swanson. Jason Taylor, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Jane Thompson. Kelly Michelle Treader. Nancy Beth Valencia, magna cum laude. Cyrus Ira Vantendoost. Joseph Wesley Wade. Elizabeth Lorraine Watson. Robert Louis Wedding. Donald Wen. Jonathan Witzel. Brian Woosley, cum laude. Paul Woosley. Carrie Lynn Yeager.
Now let's congratulate the graduates of the College of Business Administration. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present to you Dr. Carl R. Martray, Dean of the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences. Dr. Martray will present the diplomas to the graduates of his college. Dean Martray.
Vice President Haynes, it's with a genuine sense of pride and enthusiasm that I present the graduates from the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences to this audience and present to each graduate a diploma in recognition of this significant achievement.
I can get on one side. James Duff, Jr. Greg Whitty, summa cum laude. Juanita Allen, magna cum laude. Teresa Allen. Christian Anthony Ward. Stephanie Austin. Boyce Bain. Jennifer Barnett. Heather Beach. Robert Harvey, magna cum laude. Tammy Bevan. Dwayne Berry. Michael Bloom. Sherry Bostwick, magna cum laude. Brian Bramlett. Lori Buckby. Thomas Chaffin. Stephanie Chaffin, summa cum laude. Christy Chandler. Melinda Chapman. Laura Cox. Kelly Cundiff. Christine Cunningham, summa cum laude. Rhonda Clark. Melissa DeWeese. Nancy Dickerson. Cynthia Dykeman, cum laude. Daniel Deal. Advinia Dolan. Tricia Drury, cum laude. Tonya Dunning. Dawn Edlin. John Firo. Kyle Finn. Brian Forbush. Moretta Dawn Garner. Kelly Godert, summa cum laude. Alma Jo Hammonds. Lavelle Ramon Harden McKnight. Meredith Harp. Stanley Harwood. Julie Henderson. Samilla Hollis, summa cum laude. Suzanne Howden. Jody Hudson. Christopher Jarbo. Glenn Johnson. Joni Kanzler. Rhonda Keller. Selena Langford. Lori Lee. John Martin. Tonya McKinney, magna cum laude. Laura Meager, cum laude. Matthew Merkel. Elizabeth Mahan. Philip Montgomery. Lance Kitchens. Melissa Neely. Melissa Newton. Michelle Osborne. Erica Phelps. Tracy Phillips. Deanne Powell, cum laude. Mary Powers. Mary Purdy. Christian Volker. Yvette Reese, magna cum laude. Andrea Cooper. Christy Rogers. James Shannon, magna cum laude. Patricia Sutton. Jill Ubalor. Samuel Watkins III. Shonda West. Ronald Wilder, magna cum laude. Russell Woodruff. Sean Abma. Ellen Cherry. Jill Coates. Veronica Decker. Jack Ferguson Jr. Elaine Grunnett. James Hubert.
Linda Correct, Pamela Lyle, Francine Brito Mabry, Michelle Marassi, Portia McConnell, Angela Minton, Cynthia Rucker Murray, Kimberly Shell, Byron Sheets II, summa cum laude, Angela Spears, Michael Stewart, magna cum laude, Teresa Taylor, Eddie Thompson, Tracy Trumbo, Lori Benhouse, Jennifer Vincent, Julie Wade, Pamela Renee Gwen Wills, Colleen Abson, summa cum laude, LaWanda Adcock, Sherry Amos, Richard Anderson, Micah Arline Mapp, Lee Armstrong, Patsy Arnett, magna cum laude, Tammy Otis, cum laude, Christine K. Ayers, Melinda Belcher, Stacy Bell, cum laude, Catherine Bennett, Donna Bilbro, cum laude, Barbara Burge, cum laude, Kimberly Burge, Amanda Bishop, Brandon Blackburn, Susan Blair, cum laude, Beth Blinko, Kathy Blue, Tammy Bowman, Linda Boswell, Tricia Boyd, magna cum laude, Cynthia Bramer, Tracy Brandon, Crystal Bratcher, Lori Bratcher, Jennifer Breedlove, Henry Brierly, Emily Brown, John Bruner, Antoine Buchanan, Tracy Burba, Annalisa Bird, Catherine Burton, Valerie Caldwell, Jane Calvert, Susan Cambron, Melinda Carnes, Kelly Cassidy, Monty Cassidy, Donna Centers, summa cum laude, Gina Chan, magna cum laude, Stacy Clark, summa cum laude, Delika Clemens, Laura Clover, Michelle Cobb, Lori Collins, Stephen Compton, Debbie Tuck Connor, Brian Coulter, Paul Cubble Jr., summa cum laude, Tricia Crabtree, Andrea Crea, Deborah Kreider, magna cum laude, Monica Krim, Dana Cruz, John Cummings, Elaine Foster Daniels, Dana Doherty, Kristen Davis, Michelle Davis, Marcia Day, Carol Day, summa cum laude, Linda Day, Marcia Decker, Amy DeJarnette, Sherry Delk, magna cum laude, Lori Deaver, Liesel Diedrich, Angela Donnelly, Marilyn Dorsey, summa cum laude, Dorothy Dunlap, Leslie Dunning, magna cum laude, Virginia Durbin, Stephanie Dykes, Daryl Eccles, Tonya Edwards, Carrie Ellerbush, Elizabeth Backler, Sharon Fisher, summa cum laude, Randy Flannery, magna cum laude, Donna Flatt, Melissa Ford, Deborah Fowler, summa cum laude, Penny Fox, summa cum laude, Tammy Jo Franklin, Sharon Freck, Marietta Froggett, Mary Froggett, Cynthia Fuqua, Lisa Tudor Gallagher, Tian Gan, Trisha Gatto, Scarlett Gentry, Ginger George, Deborah Gibbs, Nicole Gibson, Julia Goodrum, Ashley Grantham, Shannon Gray, Nancy Green, Anna Gregory, cum laude, Panisha Gregory, cum laude, Tracy Harbin, Heather Harrison, Melody Gooden, Tracy Mercer, Kenneth Hardman III, Tanisha Harris, Melissa Harrod, John Christopher Hairston, Tammy Hastings, Amanda Hayes, Sonia Hayes, cum laude, Jennifer Grace Hendrickson, Laura Hessler, Julia Hicks, Katrina Higgins, Denise Hill, Mary Hinton, summa cum laude, Carol Holman, Tamala Holt, Penny Jo Houchins, Jane Houston, Sherry Howard, Jamie Howard, Sarah Howlett, Linda Huff, magna cum laude, Melanie Hufford, Brenda Hughes, Mary Hughes, magna cum laude, Shantae Ingles, Julie Jaggers, Reagan Jaggers, magna cum laude, Sharon Jarbo, Eddie Jefferson, Angie Johnson, magna cum laude, Ann Johnson, cum laude, Jennifer Johnson, cum laude, Cassandra Jones, Kathy Kilgo, cum laude, Melissa King Cravens, magna cum laude, Rana King, Mia Kircher, Sherry Kitchen, Jill Knoop, Julie Quat, Stacy Lattis, James Lapsley, Christy Law, magna cum laude, Christy Leach, Michelle LeGrand, magna cum laude, Ginger Lewis, Glenda Sue Lewis, Jeffrey Ligon, Christy Lucas, Stacy Luttrell, cum laude, Janet Mackey, Kelly Manning, Julie McNabb, cum laude, Bonnie Marshall, William Marshall, Stephanie Martin, Amy Mason, Barbara Matheny, magna cum laude, Jane Mathis, Paula Holzman, Robin Morris, Melissa Nally, Christy Wilson, cum laude, Joanne Wimpelberg, Jennifer May, summa cum laude, Mary McCullough, Sherry McGrath, Kelly McGee, Hubert McMasters, Tammy McPherson, summa cum laude, Ashley Melton, Wendy Meredith, Judy Milam, April Miller, Kathleen Miller, Susan Miller, cum laude, Marla Mitchell, Michael Montgomery, summa cum laude, Michelle Morgan, magna cum laude, Tamara Morgan, Gina Morfitt, Amelia Morris, Amy Morris, Debbie Morris, cum laude, Amelia Murray, Monica Myers, Tonya Newton, cum laude, Sarah Knopfsinger, April Norris, magna cum laude, Laura O'Brien, Elizabeth Orr, Kurt Otto, Craig Offit, Tracy Pace, Layla Parks, cum laude, Denise Patterson, Emily Payne, Jeffrey Pettigo, Janet Penrod, Laura Pyle, Lisa Pyle, Dawn Pinkston, Amber Pippin, Julie Pittman, Amy Polly, April Pride, cum laude, Christy Puckett, Laura Pullen, Julie Raffaelli, Dana Rector, Nancy Rector, Stephanie Rector, Laura Ryder, Jamie Reese, Melinda Sue Renfro, Laura Rice, magna cum laude, Betty Jean Richmond, Amy Rogers, Philip Rogers, cum laude, Tonya Lee Rogers, Bert Rosenbarker, Brenda Royalty, cum laude, Amy Jo Rucker, Timothy Rudolph, Jennifer Russo, Jessica Ryan, Christy Saint, Melanie Saint, Charlotte Sally, summa cum laude, Dana Sanchez, Carrie Ann Sanders, Beverly Sarver, Marla Saunders, cum laude, Carmen Schneider, Dana Scott, Melissa Lane Scott, Shelley Scott, Melissa Sheets, magna cum laude, Shannon Shelton, Phyllis Shepperson, Deanna Shoecraft, Christy Shirley, Tony Shirley, Emily Sims, Jennifer Simpson, Barbara Sisk, Patricia Skis, Donna Slavin, Clay Smalley, Katrina Smith, Donna Smith, James Smith, cum laude, Kimberly Smith, Rhonda Smith, magna cum laude, Sally Smith, cum laude, Angela Snow, summa cum laude, Karen Solis, Renate Spainauer, Lisa Spitters, Michelle Spivey, Charisse Spradlin, Kimberly Staples, Linda Staples, cum laude, Tina Steen, Nicole Steenken, Wanda Stevenson, Leslie Marie Stover, Charity Staten, Tanya Stinson, Elinette Stranahan, Dana Stroud, Kelly Williams Stroud, Joy Sutton, Twilyn Swift Edwards, Alice Thomas, summa cum laude, Amy Thomas, Kenna Thomas, summa cum laude, Diana Thompson, magna cum laude, Elizabeth Thompson, John Paul Thompson, Michelle Thompson, summa cum laude, Allison Thrasher, cum laude, Deborah Tipton, Darlene Todd, cum laude, Jennifer Toms, Toby Tucker, Lynn Turner, William Twyman, Cindy Underwood, summa cum laude, Melissa Underwood, Shirley Van Dyke, Danielle Traw, Kendra Vaughn, Monica Vetter, Shelley Waddle, Cynthia Waldrop, Cindy Walters, Philip Waltz, Holly Warren, Nikki Westerfield, Bertina White, cum laude, Jennifer Whitus, Sean Weiler, Eddie Wilkerson, Angelina Williams, Ann Williams. Travis Willis. Deanne Willoughby, cum laude. Donetta Wilson. Jennifer Wilson, magna cum laude. Karen Wilson. Timothy Wilson. Yvonne Walliver. Mary Wright, cum laude. Shannon Wright. Stacy Wyatt, summa cum laude. James Yarbrough. Giovanna Young. Laura Young. Mary Young. Robin Youngblood. Stephanie Zock. Please join me in congratulating these graduates of the College of Education in Behavioral Sciences. Again, I would ask that you refrain from celebrations until all of the graduates have been introduced to the college. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Martin R. Houston, Dean of Ogden College of Science, Technology, and Health, who will present to you the graduates in Ogden College. Dean Houston.
Vice President Haynes, it is with pride and pleasure that I present the graduates of the Ogden College of Science, Technology, and Health, and present each graduate with a diploma in recognition of this significant accomplishment.
Jeffrey Rice, Tammy Franklin Adams, Deborah Alexander with high distinction, Monica Blair, Amy Bogle with high distinction, Amy Bryson, Karen Marie Clark, Vonnie Clark, Christy Gormley, Monica Dearmond, Kimberly Dodson, Katrina Eccles with high distinction, Elizabeth Everly, Wanda Jean Babb Furlong, Kendra Garvin, Laura Goodman with distinction, Laura Hagan, Deborah Hall with distinction, Lori Hill, Crystal Hudson, Rebecca Sheffield Eisenberg with high distinction, Jenna Ray Key, Paula Faye Holcomb Key, Celeste Elaine Lewis, Kathy Charlene LeBeau with distinction, Heather Logston, Janet O'Rourke, Debbie Sue Popawell Ping, Tanya Shaw Poor, Lori Rogers, Glenda Faye Scherer, Catherine Spivak with distinction, high distinction, John Joseph Steno, Nyak Trin Som, Jonna Thornton, Angela Dawn Tolliver, Nina Toomey, Lucille Turnbow with distinction, Melanie Jones Turnham, Janet Mercer Vickus with high distinction, Linda Slabo West, Misty Doreen Wilkinson, Maria Yates, Janet York with distinction, Janet Takish, summa cum laude, Dinah Beeson, magna cum laude, Tracy Bennett, cum laude, Will Constable, Kenneth Couch, Clarissa Lynette Ford, summa cum laude, Connie Elaine Hera, Stephen Vincent Hartman, Carrie Kelton, summa cum laude, Lon Calvin Maynard, Delissa Ann Wheat, Michael Wittenberg, magna cum laude, Bethany Ann Williamson, cum laude, Joel Dean Arnold, Pamela Marie Brashear, Jeffrey Coyle Brummett, Jill Cecil, cum laude, Jude Chambers, summa cum laude, Matthew Cook, Angela Jane Johnson, Colleen Adele Morris Edmiston, cum laude. Donna Faye Ewing, David Carlton Gum, Thomas Forte, Leslie Darlene Hazard, Stephen Ray Kirby, Kevin McCoy, Janice Lashley Miller, James Thomas Moore, magna cum laude. Matthew Keith Reamer, Loretta Staley, Cassandra Wilson, Mary Bernice Ackerman, Islam Shah Amlani, Tracy Anderson, Sherry Asbury, Michael Shane Austin, magna cum laude. Judith Catherine Barber, Michael Lynn Barber, Nevin Prentice Bard, Thomas Scott Barkey, Heather Bayless, Michael Edward Bevan, William Marcus Beeler, David Bell, magna cum laude, James Eric Bell, Daniel Bellamy, Philip Eric Bennett, Darren Bensing, Mark Forster Berry, summa cum laude, Michael Richard Bissett, Brian Allen Black, James William Blair, Amy Denise Bowles, cum laude, Jerry Britt Jr., Robert Ian Brown, Frederick Cade Browning, Susan Elaine Browning, magna cum laude, Joseph Franklin Burden, summa cum laude, Brad Daniel Burridge, Mitchell Canup, cum laude, Jeremy David Sublett, Kevin Keller, Zach Strobel, Thomas Lee Dotson, summa cum laude, Emily Martine Burton, Krista Button, Laura Ann Byers, Elizabeth Caffey, Paula Eugene Campbell, Dwayne David Cassidy, Randall Lee Cottle, Margaret Fron Kai, Baron Chandler, Marnie Lynn Chapman, Shirley Jeanette Chapman, Jenny Childs, Kimberly Ann Siolkowski, Angela Clark, Timothy Andrew Coffey, Jama Lynn Collins, Kathy Umberger Cope, magna cum laude, Tracy Lynn Cofer, Michael Crow, Chad Cruz, summa cum laude, Gary Davis, Christopher Eugene Deal, Shanna Dean, Scott Goodwin Diamond, Jody Dodson, summa cum laude, Margaret Dossett, summa cum laude, Robert Douglas, Davita Drake, David Randall Dudgeon, M. Stacy Dahl, Eric Eliason, Stephanie Elliott, Benjamin David Everly, Robert Emil Fisher II, Kimberly Renee Flood, Robert Lane Forward Jr., Larry Lee Fugate, John Gambrell, summa cum laude, Joseph Garland, Dana Garrett, Richard Dale Gator, John Gentry, magna cum laude, Jeffrey Scott Goad, Barry Wayne Goley, Paul Allen Goodlett, cum laude, Jennifer Gray, summa cum laude, Samir Hafez, Julie Hall, Stephanie Hammonds, Catherine Bartell Haynes, Eureka Hasagawa, Dwayne Hahn, Gregory Hayes, summa cum laude, Carla Sue Haynes, David Scott Helm, Mark Allen Hendricks, Russell Edgar Henry Jr., John Jeff Herndon, Christopher Ray Hodge, Kurt Andrew Hoffman, Thomas Hopkins, Marnie Elizabeth Holland, Carla Suzanne Lange, Tamara Lynette Taylor, Jennifer Jo Houston, Eric Todd Hudson, Robert Murray Jackson Jr., Joey Brent Johnson, Janet Marie Johnson, cum laude, Natalie K. Jones, Gina Yvette Keller, Brian Keith Kennedy, cum laude, Michael Wesley Kennedy, Laura Elizabeth King, Nicole Janine Klein, Christopher Kozlowski, Jeanette Marie Krebs, Melissa Jo Kremer, David Martin Latham, magna cum laude, Lana Michelle Lewis, cum laude, Mark Allen Ling, Mitchell Logston, Matthew Prince Lowry, summa cum laude, Gwendolyn Lucas, Michael Keith Lucas, Christopher Allen Mannion, Jennifer June Moronic, magna cum laude, Felicia Dawn Martin, John Ernest McAlpin, Vicki Sitzler Monroe, Joshua Honecker, magna cum laude, Patrick Jarvis, cum laude, Shirley Leanne Matney, Mary Catherine McNeil, cum laude, Karen Virginia Phillips, Stuart Thomas Miller, Raji Glenn Millett, magna cum laude, Paul Ray Murray, magna cum laude, Saint Nick, David Michael Onan, Glenda Renee Myatt, summa cum laude, Monica Marie Myers, Christopher Paul Oldham, Clifford Willis Oliver II, Gary Christopher Page, Michelle Dawn Park, Susan Gail Passmore, Sajal Patel, Amanda Beth Pentecost, Jessica Lynn Peters, Jeffrey Taylor Plaster, William Prince, cum laude, Susan Page Pride, Karen Elizabeth Pro, summa cum laude, Samir Rahman, Martha Faye Reesner, cum laude, Samuel Redden, Carrie Reynolds, Brian Roberts, Michael Chad Robinson, Crystal Edward Ross, magna cum laude, Lorenzo Dow Rasdale IV, Rosemary K. Ruckriegel, Adrian Russell, Christopher Rust, Janet Marie Ryan, cum laude, Johnny Dean Sailors, Belinda Setters, Todd Ashley Seiler, Christopher Simmons, Michael Edward Skaggs Jr., cum laude, Trent Edward Skillman, James Michael Slightum, Carla Smith, cum laude, Denise Renee Smith, Libby Juanita Smith, Richard Kenneth Snow, summa cum laude, Dana Christine Stafford, magna cum laude, Jason Stanberry, cum laude, Jennifer Lynn Stelmick, cum laude, Jason Neal Stone, James David Street, Richard Andrew Shoemaker, magna cum laude, Chris James Tedesco, Keith Sutton, William Sean Sykes, Jacqueline Ann Sadowskowski, Stephen Michael Seifer, Randy Lee Thomas, magna cum laude, Dawn Marie Thompson, Mark Edward Thompson, Julie Elizabeth Tolliver, cum laude, Jennifer Jo Turner, Robert Rhett Turner, Amy Lee Vanhover, Elizabeth Ellen Van Cleve, Patricia Wade, Felicia Lynette Walker, Brian David Wallace, summa cum laude, Jermel Lynn Waller, Bradley Wayne Ward, Savannah Warren, Vicki Stewart Weatherby, John Patrick Wells, Daniel Lee Wheat, Bryant Michael Bryant Wilhite, David Martin Williams, Jordan Winfrey, Timothy Wingo, summa cum laude, William Joseph Duvall, Ivan Werner Wallenham, Melissa Lynn Woodruff, Barry Daniel Woosley II, Jeffrey Scott Wright, James Robert Wysong, Angela Faye Young, Y.U., Kim Abshir, Sheila Diane Waddle Atwell, June Bell, Elizabeth Troyce Carr, Shannon Chance, Christy Lynn Clark, Kara Beth Robinson Dawson, cum laude, Michelle Ann Drury, Laurie Dawn L.D. Goff, magna cum laude, Tiffany Louise Griffin, John Robert Hammers, Carol Bowman Haynes, Paula Jensen, cum laude, Tammy Michelle Johnson, Leanne Kennedy, Laura Michelle Mason, Angelyn Lee Masters, Evelyn Sue McGinnis, cum laude, Marla Renee McIntyre, cum laude, Ashley Carol McNabb, Deshae Doris Nelson, Kristen Lynn Payne, Kelly Phelps, Anita Jo Bryant Pitcock, summa cum laude, Tammy Robertson, Michelle Sammons, Dawn Marie Shields, magna cum laude, Joy Chrisanne Simpson, cum laude, Amy Michelle Sisley, Nancy Carol Smith, Wanda Smith Souders, Jenny Leah Taylor, Tammy Lynn Turner, Kelly Renee Von Gonten, Lisa Michelle Wall, Rebecca Havener, Jamie Marie Watts, Heidi Irene Whitescarver, Melanie Dawn Wilson, Angela Denise Woosley.
Please join me in congratulating the Ogden College graduates. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Livingston Alexander, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Graduate Studies. Dr. Alexander will present the diplomas for the graduates for master's and specialist degrees.
Vice President Haynes, on behalf of the graduate faculty, it is with genuine pride that I present to this audience students who have completed degrees at the graduate level and present to each graduate a diploma in recognition of this significant accomplishment. Special recognition is given to Western's first graduating class of the Master of Professional Accountancy program.
Penelope Botseris, Gayla Sissel, Shelley Cosby, Lori Davis, Travis Dunlap, Paul Forrester, Leslie Gaston, Travis Green, Ann Gray, Christina Huddleston, Jamie Hicksonbaugh, Sean Smith, Deborah Ruth, Portia Pennington, Carl Payton, Orala Jumanakati, Anna Marie Fitzgerald, Erica Mayer, Claudia Pratt, Janine Siebold, Sarah Lurleen Smith, Joseph Williams, Christina Lynn Burden, Angela Duval, Jeffrey Meisel, James Murray, Finley Baird, Monica Armour, Teresa Atkins, Greg Fall, Daryl Bridges, Nancy Brock, John Malone, Robin Cannon, Alfreda Clark, Janice Cohn, Stephanie Dean, Lowell Daniels, John Dempsey, Dawn Forey, Judith Handlin, Nelda Gonsi, Diana Galize, Tony Gambrell, Wanda Hendricks, Marta Hensley, Linda Howard, Cynthia Hudson, Marcia Eisenberg, Jacqueline Denise Johnson, Michelle Jost, Charlotte Lee, John Martin McDonald, Lee Meek, Michael Mitchell, Judith Moriarty, Thomas Nicholson, Michelle Overton, Kelly Peck, Yvonne Perry, Manami Robinson, Stacy Rose, Bruce Simmons, Virginia Simons, Michael Simpson, Patricia Stidham, Nan Vance, Donna Williams, Catherine Williams, Todd Parker, Brenda Davis, Elizabeth Wood, Mary Williams, Linda Rogers, Susan Schwindel, Lester Bain, Beverly Campbell, Hari Chaturi, Barbara Clemens, Jonathan Newton, Kenneth Detweiler, Lisa Cunningham, Troy Burden, Sabra Marvin, Angela Nevels, Rhonda Ellis, Russell Ronaldo, Carl Friesen, Michael Gorham, Anthony Hatcher, Shannon Hurley, Zhongling Liu, Samuel Myers, Suzanne Nagel-Jackson, Surat Nagabriva, Edwina Sheffield, Kendra Van Hooser, Aslam Tawid, Shaba Sudarshan, Chidambara Shivana, Bukan Wang, Aiping Wang, Whale Wang, Shannon Yule, Hongzhu Zhang, Leo Zhang, Sally Crenshaw, Praveen Nala, Juan Magruder. That's right, nobody turned around. Now please join me in congratulating these graduates of our graduate college. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Dan Greenwell, President of the Western Alumni Association.
Thank you. As President of the Western Kentucky University Alumni, welcome to our newest alumni. In the 60s, the Beach Boys, some of you may have heard of them, had a hit song called Be True to Your School. I challenge you to be true to your school. Never before in the history of higher education has the need for a strong alumni been more important. Your support is needed for the continued growth of Western. Attendance at alumni events, participation in local alumni clubs, very important. Helping to recruit top students at Western. That's your charge. Remember, and you've heard it twice before today, the Spirit makes the master. Show that spirit whenever you represent Western as an alumnus. I hope to see all of you at your first homecoming, October 28th. Be there in mass. We'll have a party as an alumni group. Doesn't that sound good after all these years? Congratulations on your graduation. Thank you.
Well, you've now joined a select group of people who are always referred to as graduates of Western Kentucky University. As of this moment, you have new options in life, which you did not have yesterday. Congratulations to you. I want to remind you that college receptions for graduates, families, friends, and faculty will be held in the following locations immediately following our dismissal. Potter College will meet in the Downing University Center mezzanine. College of Business will meet in the Grice Hall lobby. College of Education will meet in the front lawn, on the front lawn of Tate Page Hall. Ogden College will meet in the Academic Complex lobby and the front patio area. And Graduate Studies will meet in the Downing University Center night class. The Community College will meet in the Downing University Center, room 226. Now, if you will look at your programs, inside the back cover are the words to the alma mater of Western, College Heights. And I ask all of our graduates here to please lead us in singing with Miss Heather Hall as she leads us singing our alma mater. At the conclusion of the singing of the alma mater, we will be dismissed. Miss Hall. Please rise.
Beauty all thine own.
I'm Susan Stamberg, and this is what green means.
Yeah, about the size of one of these petals, a little smaller than that. A little smaller than
On a rainy morning in California's Sacramento Delta, a search is on for something very precious and very tiny.
But this is kind of what the best place to find them. About that long, one of those leaves, and about half the width.
The jewel, an endangered species, the Delta green ground beetle. So rare, fewer than 10 people may have actually seen it alive.
They've got to be somewhere.
Oh, yep. Got to be somewhere.
It's the kind of back-breaking search photographer Susan Middleton is getting used to. She has spent 2 years tracking down and photographing 100 of America's vanishing species.
There's certainly a sense of adventure to it, but it's a lot of hard work, and a lot of it is quite tedious and exhausting. You have to love it a lot to give up your life for it, which is pretty much what it's doing during these couple of years.
Susan and her partner, David Lichtschwager, have traveled more than 100,000 miles and shot some 3,000 rolls of film to produce a haunting body of work. 100 portraits of North American animals, insects, plants, all on the brink of extinction.
We are on a mission to reveal these species, or to give them a voice in a sense, because they can't speak for themselves.
Most of their subjects are so rare they can be photographed only in captivity. But some are still in the wild. Hours of searching in the rain and still no beetle. But the day isn't lost. A helpful biologist has scooped up another threatened animal native to these scarce pools, the tadpole shrimp, among the 3,000 endangered species still awaiting federal protection.
Now, are the two tail prongs showing as much in that Polaroid as this one?
Inside their cramped van, David has custom-built a mobile studio. Here, through specially filtered water and fine-grained film, the pair strive to capture as much beauty in a tadpole shrimp as in a bald eagle.
These are definitely not glamorous animals, nor do they live in a glamorous habitat. Oh, boy, if you could just stop him like that, David. I know, it's too much to ask. Good one. I think it's more challenging to photograph species that are more subtle in that sense, either because they're very small or because they live very cryptic lives that people don't get to know about very much, because it's like revealing something new and surprising. That was good. Oh, nice highlights. Underside. That's the one.
This is a great one.
That's a good one.
Back in their San Francisco lab, 11 rolls of film are culled to a few pictures. Only 1 or 2 will make it into the book they are compiling. The tadpole shrimp joins a precious gallery. The red wolf, extinct in the wild. The Presidio manzanita, only 1 specimen remains. The San Joaquin kit fox. The images are stark, more portraits than nature photography. But it's not just a matter of style. There's a message here.
And that is that really what we're eliminating is any trace of habitat, which is the key, because it's the habitat that is disappearing. These animals and plants are losing their homes, and without that they can't survive. So I guess this is as good as any.
For the tadpole shrimp, its home is a vernal pool in the Sacramento Delta. And in these rare cases when their subjects have come from the wild, Susan and David perform a ritual of returning them there.
Gone back home.
It rejoins an ancient habitat on the verge of disappearing forever. But this chance encounter has left behind a lasting impression of a creature unique in all the world. You know, biologists estimate that at least 45 plant and animal species disappear every day. And it seems we can't do anything about it as individuals. But by being conscious of what we consume, what we wear, what we throw away, we reduce the destruction of habitats all over the world. And for all species, that's what green means.
Green Means is made possible by the Richard and Rhoda Goldman Fund, sponsors of the Goldman Environmental Prize, recognizing environmental heroes throughout the world.
The civil rights movement was one that inspired people to take a stand, to make an effort. And one of the tools they used was music.
There was never a rally without singing starting it off, and singing ending it, and singing coming on and off all the way through it. I've heard a good gospel song or freedom song go on for 15 or more minutes, and it just seems to get better and better. Maybe only 3 or 4 in the room knew it at the beginning, but then 5 or 10 got it. And it sounded better. Then 15 or 20 are singing it. And finally, even the people who said, I can't sing, but I can't keep silent either. And their bodies are swaying, and their mouths are moving. And next, the sound is coming out of their lungs.
Next time on Nova. As art prices skyrocket, so does art forgery. Suddenly, museums wonder if they've been taken. Is St. Catherine really 500 years old? Was this bird carved in ancient China? And what about this Greek statue? Masterpieces or million-dollar hoaxes? The stakes are high in the fine art of faking it. That's next time on Nova.
On WKYU TV, Channel 24. Watching WKYU TV Channel 24 Bowling Green, the public television service of Western Kentucky University.
Tick, tick, the time is just going by as quickly as it is. The clock is going
Time's a waste. And how many times have you spun your wheels in an attempt to complete a task, to get a project done? Seems like you get so stressed out, that you're so worried, that you just end up going in circles and you don't get anything really accomplished at all. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, time management, and how to better make use of the time that you have. Make it work for you. Be more efficient. You can do it. At least that's what Betty Green is going to tell us. Betty is with Betty Green and Associates, and she is a trainer, consultant. She travels around the country teaching people and corporations how to better manage their time. So hopefully this will be a time well spent in the next 30 minutes or so. Betty, do most people realize that they're wasting their time? Are they cognizant of the fact that I'm just spinning my wheels, I'm not getting anything done?
No, I don't think most people realize it. And secondly, I don't think people are aware of the fact that time is the real essence of life. And if you don't spend it wisely, you have wasted part of your life.
So is sitting back and going, oh, I've wasted all this time. That's a time waster. I could better use that by being more productive?
Absolutely. Some of the thoughts that we have are just habit-type thoughts. Some of them we've lived with for a long time. Some of them we copied from other people. And we're not, until somebody jogs our awareness and makes us realize, or reactivates awareness that says, have you looked at this a second time? We don't think about it. We just move along in the habit mode, and we do whatever comes naturally.
Now, you know how they say with alcoholics and other things like that, you have to admit, you have to say out loud, I am this or I am that. Is this something with time management as well, that you have to admit to yourself? It's hard to say that, well, I'm a procrastinator and do you have to get to that point where you say?
Absolutely. You have to come to the place where you own the fact that I can do it better. There is a way. There has to be a way. It's hard. Yeah, it is hard to say I'm a procrastinator and I got to do something about it. If time is my life, let's get on with this.
Now, can we look at stages? I mean, is there usually a pattern with someone who wastes time?
Well, there are various vehicles that we can use. There's kind of a little survey instrument that says, look at your life, record it for a week and find out where you're wasting your time. Now, most of us waste time in the same manner that parents or some mentor that we've copied that we really like. We do the same thing they do. And maybe it's time we found our own pattern of managing time wisely.
So it's a learned behavior.
Absolutely.
We learn from others. Now, I have a husband, my dear sweet husband, who is always late. So chances are he learned that behavior and...
Absolutely. Somebody in his family always walks in when the bell rings. And he thinks that's soon enough. So why get there early? Oh, surely you don't want to get there early. And this becomes an attitude that we bring to our life, and that's the way we live. I don't think they ever stop to think that if you're late, you may have missed something very important, or you've kept someone else waiting, and that's a little bit disrespectful. But they don't view it that way because it's a habit.
It's interesting. And now, you talk about attitudes, too, that it's an attitude as well. Now, attitudes are much more difficult to change. I mean, they can be changed, but it's a lot harder to change an attitude.
Absolutely.
So where do you start? At what level? Where do you?
Well, I really don't think it makes a great deal of difference where you start. My recommendation is always start with that particular thing in your life that bothers you most. If you're one of these people that chronically puts off, you chronically put off the doctor, you chronically put off going to the dentist, you chronically put off taking dry cleaning, or whatever that is you put off, start with that one thing that you don't do it, but it really nags you back there in the back of your mind. It just kind of frustrates you.
The worst, go in and just tackle that worst thing right off the bat.
Right, absolutely. That's the beginning. And once you do that first thing, then it's kind of like a stepping stone. You step on that one, and then you tackle the next one that bothers you the most. And do something about it. Look for answers. Talk to somebody else. Watch somebody else that's doing it well and say, tell me how you do that.
Oh, and it's such a wonderful feeling of accomplishment, especially when you take on the nastiest of those little tasks.
Absolutely.
To have accomplished it. Now, you have some little things that we were going to put up on the screen here in just a few seconds, but what stands in the way of managing yourself and time? You've actually broken it down into 9 elements of these things actually do stand in your way. And starting with number one, share with us, Betty, unbelief. What does that mean?
Well, I think that most of us really don't believe we can do any better than we're doing. Man alive, my schedule is full. Have you seen my schedule? I'm doing all I can do. But we've got to stop and say, hey, I'm surely bigger and better than I am today. I want to be that tomorrow. And we've got to think success. And if I want to be successful, is there one little something or two little ideas that I can latch onto and use time more wisely to make money, to enjoy life, or whatever that is? So we've got to think bigger. We've got to think bigger. We've got to realize that maybe there's one idea out there that would gain me, I don't know, 5% more time during the week or 10% more time, and I can do something I've always wanted to do.
So in essence, we're broadening our horizons. We're saying there's more out there than what we're taking advantage of. But what about those, you know, there's got to be a gray area of taking on too much where you really do get bogged down and you can't do anything efficiently because you've got too much on the plate.
Well, that's one of the things that I usually remind people of. You really need to learn to say no. Most of us think we must say yes because I can't think of any good reason, so I guess I better go ahead and say yes. I just don't have a good excuse. But saying no means that I can do everything I do with quality, the very best I can do it.
But I'm more sophisticated and can distinguish between.
Effective.
Now, number two, excuses. Oh, I've come across my share of those.
Excuses. Well, the biggest one that we run into is, don't tell me to plan, don't tell me to organize a little better. I don't have time. I don't have time to take 15 minutes out of every day and plan for tomorrow. You've got to be kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Some other excuses that waste our life is you hear people say, well, you know, I'd like to do that, but I've got to wait till the kids get out of college. Mm-hmm. Then the kids get out of college and you hear somebody say, well, I'm going to do that shortly, but I'm going to pay off the house first. And on go the excuses. Well, I don't know. I guess I better do this first, but somebody needs to tell me how to get started. One on top of the other. And I want to say to those people, those kind of things don't add up on the scoreboard of life. They don't count. If you were playing football, you'd never make a touchdown.
And you just have this pile of all this excess baggage that you'd be lying underneath. Number three is fear. And, you know, so many people, it gets down to the very basic fear of the unknown or fear of failure.
Well, I think the big one for this is fear of failure. Please don't ask me to make one more commitment, because if I make that commitment and I fail, I can't face another failure. Well, we got to remind them that you fail your way to success. You try once, you try twice, and you try again. I always think it's kind of interesting. Have you ever heard them give a birth announcement of a baby boy arrived in the Green family, and he was very active, he was very sharp, he was very confident, and he was moving towards success immediately?
No.
No, we don't hear that because we fail our way to success, and it's all right.
And it's okay to do that.
Absolutely.
So don't be afraid. What's the next one after fear?
Well, probably worry. I worry about somebody else. You're telling me to take maybe 10 or 15 minutes every day and plan for tomorrow, and I'm doing that already. And I still don't do as well as Mary over there. And what's Mary going to think about me?
Mm-hmm. So that peer pressure, in a sense, can be good, but by the same token, it can be detrimental because
Absolutely.
you can, if you're measuring up to something that's unrealistic.
Well, I think you have to come to the place where you say, am I going to listen to this person whose opinion changes every once in a while, or am I going to just move out there and know that I've got to get rid of this? I can't worry about other people. I've got to take care of myself and spending my life wisely.
So there's kind of like a self-examination, which is so scary to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
You've got to go in with that internal meter and say, what works best for me? Because it may not work for you or for someone else or for your coworker. And that's frightening to a lot of people, isn't it? What kind of response do you get when you say this to a group of people at a large corporation? You're saying, okay, look within, take a close look at you inside there.
Well, I think that usually I'll get somewhere between 60 and 70% who say, yeah, I'm going to take one of those ideas and I'm going to try to make it work in my life. Then you'll have those 30% who say, that sounds like a good idea, but you can tell by the look on their face, they're going to leave there and they're going to continue to do the same old thing because habit has them with a strong grip on their life, and they're not going to change it because they just don't believe. We're back to number one. They just don't believe they can do any better than they're doing.
And habit. So habit, like so many other things, overeating, smoking, other bad habits that we have, they're very hard to break. Do you have a formula, or do you have some suggestions as to how you might break that habit?
Well, I think one of the most important things is a habit. We have the habit of drifting. Starts early with kids. You tell kids, go clean up your room. And they drift along, and they do what they want to do, and they do something else, and they drift. Finally, mom is so exasperated, she pitches in and she cleans up the room. Then they've learned that, somebody else will do it for them. So now we have two bad habits. So drifting, sometimes just selfishness. Just selfishness. I don't have time to do that. Let somebody else do it. Most of these habits came to us very early. We didn't initiate them, but because of habit, we enforce them, and we enforce them, and we enforce them
and
again.
perpetuate them.
So, but the important thing is to know that you can only break one at a time because old habit is so strong. So don't try to tackle 3 or 4 or 5. If you're going to grasp one of these ideas, one is a plenty, and work on it, and work on it, and reinforce it. And then when it becomes real in your life, then you grab another one.
And as you go. So after habit, what comes next? Let's take a look at that.
Well, procrastination. And perhaps we've already addressed that to some degree, but I think procrastination, one of the big things is giving yourself a second choice. Barb got up this morning and she had a list of things she wanted to do. She goes down the list and she gets to item number 3 and it says, take the clothes to the cleaners. And Barb says, I don't have to do that today. That's true, you don't. Mm-hmm. But then you get to Friday night and Barb says, oh, I wish I had that red dress. And because you've taken the second choice and you chose not to do it today, you don't have it Friday night to wear. So procrastination robs us of a lot of things in life that we want to enjoy. It's another habit that we've copied from somebody. So I think an answer to procrastination is be sure you don't give yourself a second choice. Too many times we put on the list to do something and then we get there and we say, I'm not going to do it today.
And move it on down.
Right.
Now your attitude toward time.
Well, your attitude toward time. Some people think that I have a business associate that says to me, don't talk to me about managing time. I am so creative. I don't have time to do a watch. He says, I don't wear a watch. Please don't ask me to do this. And so he has developed an attitude that says, I'm going to do my thing. It's a little bit about the selfish habit. Mm-hmm. And if he runs into somebody in business that gets upset with him because he doesn't produce his creative whatever it is, project on time, he just says, oh, well, I'm so creative, I'm sorry, I just wasn't watching the time. So now we're back to excuses. Mm-hmm. So you have to revamp your whole thinking. To me, the most important idea is to say to yourself again and again, several times a day, if I waste this time, I'm wasting my life.
Think about it in seconds and minutes. We have a couple more, I think.
All right. I think the next one is probably no decisions. There are people out there that someone else may have made decisions for them all of their life, or someone else does a better job. So we put off and we say, well, I believe there's another deal. I believe there's a better deal. I'm going to have to talk to Barb tomorrow because I think she'll have a better idea. And so we put it off and we put it off. We miss a lot of opportunities because we're just so afraid to make that decision. It's like if we make that decision, the sky's going to fall in on us. So when you have a decision to make, you might want to ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen to me? If I make it today and I move forward and I tell myself that today I've gathered some information, I've done the very best I can do, I'm going to move forward.
It's again back, it's like a cyclical thing, isn't it? Back to that fear of failure. Right, if I make this decision, but you really need to look at it in a big picture and say, what's the worst that could happen as a result of this decision?
Absolutely.
And anticipate that.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good advice. And there was one other one up there, I think.
I think the other one is
no goals.
Goals.
No goals.
Yeah. Too many people in life play the most important game they'll ever play, the game of life, without goals. And if you don't have goals, you lose a great deal of enthusiasm. If you don't have goals, you don't set in place momentum, because goals seem to have their own momentum. For instance, if you're planning a wonderful vacation and you're looking forward to this vacation, note the excitement. Oh, we go home and we talk about it. Well, now, do we have to save some more money? Or, well, how can we do this? And we talk about this, and endlessly. Then the vacation comes and we enjoy that. Then we've got to have another goal, so that we're always looking forward to something. Now, we know from research that people who set goals of some kind, now you don't have to be a fanatic about it. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to have 2 long range, I'm going to have 2 short range. You just have to do some goal setting. You need at least 1 long range, you need at least 1 short range, and daily goals. And it's another thing that you kind of have to put in front of you. I always recommend that they put it on a card. You put it on your dashboard, you put it on your desk, you put it on your mirror, and it can't get away from you. So then you know exactly what you're going to do. You know what you're going to do today, what you're going to do tomorrow. You know that you're working on getting rid of procrastination or whatever that goal is you have set for yourself.
So then you're saying don't be a fanatic about it, because I have met those people who are just fanatics, who I think do more harm to themselves, because when they don't achieve those goals, they just destroy themselves. They say, I just am no good, I didn't make it. So you're saying reach that balance somehow. Come to a happy medium.
Absolutely. And I think there's a very important thing to remember, and that is that we all have days that are identical suitcases. And they're all the same size, but there are some people out there who always pack a little more into that suitcase than I do. And I'm always saying, okay, how'd you do this? And they may have a trick that will save me a half an hour a day. Or I may find 2 tricks from that person that will save me an hour a day. And I'm saying, hurrah! Now I can go play golf, which I've always wanted to do, or something else that was a little bit frivolous if I didn't have my housework done, or if I didn't have my kids taken care of, or business, or whatever that might have been.
So there are ways to do that. You know, you talk about decision making and how scary that can be. What's so scary? Is it that fear that we may not make the right decision?
I think most people really have a compulsion to be right. If you suggest to somebody that they need to correct something, the first reaction is defensive. So most people feel that they need to be right. And if I make a decision and it's wrong, then of course there are certain people that they know are watching that decision process, and I've got to have so-and-so's approval. And if I don't get their approval, I'm just, I'm right for life.
Devastated. How can we be better decision makers?
Well, I think there's a little formula that says gather all the information, find out who all is affected, find out how much money it's going to cost. Look at it and give yourself a reasonable amount of time to make the decision, a day or 2 days, and on that second day you've made the decision. And I also think you have to say to yourself, this may not be the best decision in the world, but I've gathered this information. I believe it's the best decision for me right at this time. I can stand the consequences, if there are consequences to this decision, and I'm moving forward, and I'm not going to look back.
And it's really, well, some might view it as a time waster to actually take the 10 or 15 minutes it might take to write down the pros and cons. It's actually being as efficient as you can be to look at the long-range goal of this.
Well, and if you're in business and you make a decision, you may have somebody to come back to you and say, Barb, I don't understand this decision. Why in the world did you do this? There's got to be a better way. And if Barb has written down some of these things as she went along, she says, here's how I made the decision. And they'll say, well, why didn't you do this? And Barb says, I thought about this, but I'm not willing to pay the consequences for that. Mm-hmm. And Barb is the manager or the director or whoever that is. And that person then understands why you have made the decision that you've made.
So you've got some documentation as well. Now you talk about something called scoliosis. Sounds like a disease to me. What is that? Tell us more about scoliosis.
Well, scoliosis is simply to remind people that it's kind of a disease of the mind that says, I'm not going to set a goal. And most people, as I train, most people say, no, I'm not going to set a goal because I've done that in the past, and I always do it for a little while and then I give up on it. But goals is deciding that you can do more with your life, you can get more in the day, you can be better organized, you can plan more if you write down your goals. Now, there's one thing about goals that I always suggest to people. Do not write down more goals than you know you can accomplish for the day. I think the reason a lot of people give up on goals is because they'll put down 10 or 12, knowing they'll never finish 10 or 12 of those. Write down just exactly what you think you can do for the day.
Even, we talked about expanding the mind and thinking a little bit more broadly. Yes. So on the one hand, I could see where someone would write down 12 because maybe, just maybe, they can squeeze those in there. But you're saying be careful because you might overextend yourself.
Absolutely. Be realistic. Then once you find out that you can do these 4 or 5 or 6 things per day, it may be that once you get that all organized, you can add another one to the day later on. But I think being realistic, and I think it's motivating to go down the list and check them off. I check them off in red. It's okay. I finished it. It's okay. And 5, 6, it's okay. I get to the end of the day and I say, man alive, I did a good job today.
And take that time to look and say, I've done something, I've accomplished something.
Absolutely. And you see if they have goals written down that are realistic, you approach the day knowing this is what I'm going to do. If I'm interrupted, I've left time for that too. You see, a lot of people, I have a friend that does not leave any time for interruption, and I'm always saying, please leave a half an hour to an hour for interruption. No, I've got to fill that with something. And she leaves the day always a little down and always a little frustrated because she didn't leave time for that interruption. And what's she fussing about at the end of the day? The interruption. Mm-hmm. Now, I always tell her, stop looking at the interruption. They are real. You're going to have them. So look at what you finished for the day.
Absolutely. Interruptions are a natural part of each day.
Absolutely.
Each process. And I guess it would depend on your line of work as to how you budget those interruptions, but
Absolutely.
You're saying do leave time for them.
Space in there, and then if you have space, you always have another goal in the back of your mind that you can do at the end of the day.
Achieving those goals, reaching those goals. Now, what are some time absorbers? What are some things that the junk that we fill our day with that we could be better served if we would just get rid of those things?
Well, one time absorber that I have a friend that I always look at her and I'm amazed. Every time the phone rings, she thinks she has to answer the phone. And I'm saying, get to the place where you have certain hours in the day that you don't answer the phone, or get to the place that you have a day when you don't answer the phone. And, of course, if that's your scheme, be careful to alternate days or somebody will know that, don't call Barb on Thursday. She doesn't
answer the phone.
She doesn't answer the phone. So that's one big absorber. We have people that drop by, whether it's at home or it's at work. People drop by, and it seems if they're not really busy and their schedule is not really pushed, they think yours isn't either. So they're ready to talk and they're ready to have a good time and they're ready to share some things about life and personal things. And then here's Barb and she says, oh, well, I can't leave. It would be impolite to leave. And, I can't tell her I just have 10 minutes. And so you have to learn that you just have so much time. Watch for the people that are going to drop by. I came.
And what, avoidance? Don't open the door to them?
Well, I came to the place that when these people, I saw them coming, and I knew they were the kind that would sit down and spend my time, and in some cases they needed my time. But if my schedule was pretty tight, I would say to them at the front, well, now I only have 10 minutes. Can we take care of this problem in 10 minutes? Normally they can't, and so they'd rather come back some other time. And that's fine. They can come back when your schedule is not so tight. And then you may have time to just sit and listen to their problem and help them solve it.
So then what you're saying is it's not rude. I mean, because a lot of people view that as being impolite by saying, I only have a certain amount of time. In reality, you're being more fair. You're being more honest with them.
Absolutely. Because if somebody comes in and says, I have a problem, and I say, sure, I have time to solve that problem, and I get into the problem and I realize this is a half an hour, this is an hour, so it is really more fair to say to the individual, I only have about 10 minutes and then I have to be at so-and-so or I have an appointment or whatever the next item is on your schedule. That's being fair with them. That's saying, I don't have a lot of time to solve the problem today. On the phone, you get on the phone, sometimes you can't get rid of people. It's fair to say, let me call you back at a little different time. I really need to do so-and-so right now. I will call you back. What's the best time to call you back?
And I think, that old saying, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. I have taken to where when I telephone someone, and I'm hoping this will catch on, give them the opportunity. Is this a good time or is this a bad time? Can I call back at a better time?
Absolutely.
Or I'm just going to take a few minutes. Do you have that time?
Absolutely.
And in all fairness, I think that's the way it should be conducted.
I think another interrupter that gets in our lives is we think we have to do things a certain way. We have some kind of an organizational pattern. And if something comes up and we really need to do it now, It frustrates us, and we spend a lot of time spinning our wheels in frustration instead of going right ahead with it. And like I said a while ago, you've allowed for the interruption. You've allowed for the change of organizational plan, and you can move forward with it. Time absorbers. Time absorber is a cluttered desk. A cluttered desk causes me to sit and look at it and say, what do I do next? And I may spend 10, 15 minutes sitting there looking at it and saying, what do I do next? When in reality, if I have it at least a to-do file, and I have the file rather than clutter, I'm inclined to just move forward with the next project instead of trying to figure out how much of that clutter I need to get rid of, what piece of that clutter I need to do next.
Now, you talk about a self-analysis, and there is you've got here in your file, where you can look at how you spend your time. Just like many people who diet will write down what they eat, and when they see what they've consumed in a day, they're very surprised. I imagine this is very much the case with people who keep track of how they spend their time.
I did this for an industry in our area, and one of the men came back after he took the little vehicle that we have that lists how much time you spend grooming, how much time you spend eating, how much time you spend in personal development, business, exercise. He said, I'm amazed. I must be part woman. I spent 2.5 hours getting ready to go. Most of us don't realize how much time we spend either in the shower, in front of the mirror, doing hair, whatever that is. And is there a shorter way?
A more efficient way.
Absolutely.
Indeed. We've only got about a minute or so remaining, but in that time, what would you leave our viewers with? What kind of advice would you have? I mean, we can all do it. We can all better manage our time, and I think it's getting over that hump would be a good start, realizing that we can do it better.
I think that you just have to say to yourself, I'm bigger and better than I think I am right now. I can do at least 1 or 2 things today. I can grasp an idea today. And I will start with that one idea. It may not be the best idea, but I'm going to start with it. For instance, you may want to start with the fact that a lot of people say, I work, I have a family, I don't have time to look through my magazines even. Well, here's an idea. An idea is to stick those magazines in the car. So if you're stopped at a stoplight, you start flipping through that magazine. Here's an article I would like. Dog-ear it, turn it down. When the light changes, you just move on. If you have to stop for a second one, which often happens, because if you catch one stoplight, you get the second one.
Absolutely.
You keep thumbing through that book. If you find another article, you dog-ear it and you turn it down. Now, when you pick up that book, you know right what you're going to read, and so you don't waste any more time. So that's an effective time saver. A lot of us think we can't talk on the phone and do anything else. Well, most of us have cordless phones. Take your phone and clean out that drawer in the kitchen that has just really been bugging you to death, and you haven't done anything about it. You put it off. You don't want to tackle it, but here you are on the phone with somebody. That's very pleasant, but I could also do this drawer. Pull up the trash can, and while you're talking, you're doing both. There's always a trick someplace to packing your suitcase just a little bit better. And somebody else around you has that trick. Begin to watch those people that use time wisely. It might make you some money. And as you pursue one of these ideas, it makes you feel better about who you are.
You can be a better person in the long run. Betty, thank you for sharing these ideas with us, and I hope that this has been a good half hour for you, that you've learned how to better manage your time. Betty Green of Betty Green & Associates. If you're interested in finding out more, you can contact Betty. This has been another edition of Outlook. I'm Barbara Deeb. Thanks for joining us.
Smallest molecule to the vastness of space, from the beauty of burning deserts to barren lands of ice, from the edge of exploration to the drama of survival. Everything in every place, on Earth and beyond, is within your reach on public television.
We find that nature has outguessed us. The real universe is more incredible than even we crazy science fiction writers dreamed.
All of us have a God in us. It's the same voice that is speaking to everybody on this planet.
It is another thing entirely to be hunted by a machine that simply thinks of you as a target.
Public television will always be America's single most important and accessible source of information and understanding about the world in which we live.
President Clinton reverses a policy on Haitian refugees, some wonder if it will trigger a new influx of boat people. Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Burns. U.S. officials say the decision to screen refugees on U.S. ships is aimed at a small group of people, those seeking political asylum. It comes amid growing criticism of President Clinton's policy of sending back all Haitians who try to escape to the U.S. by sea. And as Ryan Davenport explains, some of those critics say the move is a step in the right direction.
This is WKYU-TV, Channel 24, Bowling Green.
U.S. vessels in the Caribbean or in willing third countries in the region. It reverses a Clinton policy some critics had branded as racist.
We will continue to interdict all Haitian migrants at sea, but we will determine aboard ship or in other countries which ones are